Hello students, in this video we do chapter 2 numerical applications exercise 1C from the student support material uploaded by CBSE. In this exercise we deal with problems related to time, work and distance. Before we proceed to the problems, let us see some concepts. That is, in time and distance, how do you relate time, distance and speed? Just draw one Y. Put distance here and put speed and time here. So we get distance is equal to speed into time. Speed into time. Distance is speed into time. Now speed is distance by time. Speed is distance by time. So usually speed will be given as 45 kilometers per hour. So that means kilometer, distance by time. Now if they ask time, time is distance by speed. Time is distance by speed. So when they ask you distance, it is speed into time, and speed is distance by time, and time is distance by speed. So remember these. Next important concept is about time and work. Remember one important tip, that is invert. What is the meaning of invert? Suppose if I ask you what is the invert of n, it is 1 by n or reciprocal of n. What is the invert of 1 by n? It is nothing but n. Suppose a person can complete a work in 2 days. Complete a work in 2 days. Suppose a person can paint a wall in 2 days. Now in one day, he can complete 1 by 2 of the work. Suppose paint a wall in 2 days. In one day, he can paint only half the wall. Or a person can fill a tank in 2 hours. In 1 hour, he can fill only half tank. So that this is called inversion. That is, here we have converted days to work. Days is converted to work. Now the other way, in one day, a person can complete 1 by 2 work. The full work he can complete in 2 days. Just the invert of this. Suppose a person can complete a work in 4 days. One day he can complete how much work? 1 by 4 of the work. Okay. So he need 4 days to complete a work. So in one day he can complete only 1 by 4th of the work. Full wall he has to paint in 4 days. In one day he can complete only 1 by 4 of the work. This we are converting days to work. Now similarly opposite, we can convert work to days. If we want to convert from work to days, we have to invert. So remember this concept. So now let us derive a formula now. A can complete a work in m days. Then in one day, how much work A can do? In one day, A can complete how much work? 1 by the reciprocal of this, 1 by m work. Similarly, B can complete a work in n days. So in one day, B can complete by n work. So A and B together, if they work together, if A and B work together, they can complete in P days. Complete a work in P days. So in one day, A and B, if they work together, they can complete 1 by P work. Okay, this is reciprocal of P is 1 by P. So this 1 by P is the in one day's work of A and B. So 1 by P is 1 day's work of A and B. 1 by P is equal to 1 by M plus 1 by N. So 1 by M is A's work in 1 day. 1 by N is B's work in 1 day. So that is equal to 1 by P. So that means you get N plus M by M into N is 1 by P. So P is equal to the reciprocal. P is Mn by M plus N. So what is this P? The work A and B together they can complete in P days. So the number of days taken by A and B together is P. If they work together, the number of days will be P is equal to Mn by M plus N. P is nothing but the total number of days taken by A and B together. The total number of days taken by A and B together is P. So the formula to find P is Mn by M plus N. The total number of days taken by A and B together. So with this we move on to the exercise now. The first problem is Navya is twice as efficient as Niti. If they take 10 days to finish a work together, how much time will they take individually to finish the same job? So Navya takes X days. So Navya is twice as efficient. So if Navya takes X days, Niti will take 2X days. Suppose Navya takes 10 days to complete a work, Niti will take 20 days to complete the work. So number of days taken by Niti will be more. You should know to write this. Navya takes X days to complete. Navya is twice. So into 2 is 2X. Into 2 is 2X. So Niti will take 2X days. Suppose it is given A and B. A is thrice as efficient as B. If A takes X days to complete a work, B will take 3X days because A is efficient than B. B will take more days to complete the work. So that is what is given here. Navya take X days and Niti takes 2X days. Together they take 10 days. If they work together, they take 10 days. So you know the formula. Together, the formula if they work together, the number of days taken by A and B, the formula we have learned now, P is equal to M into N by M plus N. So M is number of days taken by Navya, that is X. N is the number of days taken by Niti, that is 2X. M plus N, X plus 2X. Now you can cancel this. 2x square by 3x. You should know to write this efficiency sums. You should know to write the number of days. How do you write? Navya is twice as efficient as Niti. So Navya, if you write X days, twice, so into 2 will be Niti. If Navya is X, suppose the question is Navya is thrice as efficient as B, A will take X days, B will take 3 times X. So learn to write that first. Number of days taken by A and B. So this is how you should write. A and B together can take 10 days. So you know that the formula we just now derived, total number of days taken by A and B is given by P is M into N by M plus N. So here together they take 10 days. So put P is M into N by M plus N. So P is given as 10. So X into 2X by M is X, number of days taken by Navya, and Niti is 2X. So by X plus 2X. So 2X square by 3X. So X and X get cancelled. So you get 2X by 3 is 10. So 2X is 30, X is 15. So Navya takes 15 days and Niti takes 30 days. Okay, so they ask you to find how much time will they take individually to finish the same job. Now we move on to the next sum. Question number 2. Piece of work is finished in 30 days. So look at this. This again efficiency sum. A piece of work is finished by A in 30 days. C is thrice as good as A and A is twice as good as B. So C is thrice as good as A. So let us write C is to A. Suppose if you take C as X, thrice, suppose C takes X days to complete a work, A will take 3X days. Because C is efficient, C will take less number of days. So if C is X, A will be multiply this by 3 and write it here. So A will take 3X days. But the number of days taken by A is given here as 30. Number of days taken by A. So that means 3X is given as 30. So X is 10. So A takes 30 days. C takes 10 days. Now the second condition given here is A is twice as good as B. So if A is taking Y days to complete a work, B will take 2Y. I told you if A takes Y days, multiply this by 2, the 2Y, write it here. So if A takes Y days, B will take 2Y days. So A is twice efficient. So but again Y is given, number of days taken by A is given. So Y is 30, so 2Y is 60. Number of days taken by B is 60 days. So now if they work together, how many days will they take to finish the work? If they work together, the formula will be, this formula just now we learned, if two people work together, the number of days taken will be M into N by M plus N. If 3 people work together, 3 people are working together, number of days taken by them, the formula will be XYZ by X into Y plus Y into Z plus Z into X. You can derive this also. Same way, if 3 people are working, take the LCM and you will get the same formula there. So if you take the LCM, it will be XYZ, then XYZ plus Y, you cancel XZ plus XY is 1 by P. So take the reciprocal, P is equal to XYZ by XY plus YZ plus ZX. So we can directly use that formula here. P is equal to XYZ, XY plus YZ plus ZX. So what is X? Number of days taken by A, 30, Y is 10, Z is 60, divided by 30 into 10, X into Y plus Y into Z, 10 into 60 plus Z into X, 60 into 30. So you just multiply, you get 18,000 divided by 300 plus 600 plus 1,800. So that means you get 6 2 by 3 days is given in days. 6 2 by 3, when you simplify this, you get 6 2 by 3 days. 2 by 3 days, we want to convert it hours. So you know 1 day is 24 hours. 24 hours. So 2 by 3 days. 2 by 3 days is multiply 24 into 2 by 3. You will get 16. So 16 hours. So the answer is 6 days, 16 hours. They work together. A, B and C, they work together. They will take 6 days and 16 hours to complete the work. Question number 3. X can do a piece of work in 60 days, whereas Y can do the same work in 40 days. Both started the work together. They're working together. X left after 10 days before the completion of work. So this is very important. Is it before the completion of work or beginning, before or after the starting of work? You have to just read this. Is this before the completion of work? So X left after 10 days before the completion of work. So suppose number of days to complete the work. Find how many days will it take to complete the work. That's the question asked. So let us take it as N. Number of days to complete some work is N days. X worked for how many days? See, from here the work is completed here, right? Now from here 10 days before the completion. So totally n days we need to complete the work. That means x worked only for n minus 10 days. These 10 days x did not work. X left. Here this place, when they reached here, x left. So x worked only for n minus 10 days. Total is n days. This place x did not work. So x worked for n minus 10 days. Okay, so y worked for n days. Y worked the full. Y worked for n days, but x left. Now what is given here? X can do a piece of work in 60 days. So that inversion that I told you about, the invert. In one day, so the capacity of x, it can complete that work in 60 days. That is the capacity of x. Now in one day, x can do 1 by 60 of the work. I just told you about that inversion. Now, so x is working for how many days? N minus 10 days. N minus 10 days. X is working for n minus 10 days. So in one day it can complete 1 by 60 work. In n minus 10 days it can complete n minus 10 into 1 by 60. Similarly, what is the capacity of y? Y can do the work in 40 days. Y can do a work, or Y can complete a work in 40 days. In one day, Y can complete 1 by 40 of the work. So from days we are converting to work. How much work Y can do in a day? So take the invert. So just invert, or reciprocal of 40 is 1 by 40. Now Y is working for how many days? N days. Okay, full n days. So in n days, Y can complete n by 40 of the work. N by 40. Multiply this by n, you will get n by 40. Now, the work is completed. Is given, the work is completed, right? So, whenever the work is how many days will it complete the work? So, if the completion of the work, the work is completed. Whenever the work is completed, that means you can put equal to 1. The total work is over. So equal to, put equal to 1. Okay, the work is, it's not an incomplete work. They are completed. The question is how many days it will take to complete the work. So whenever it is complete work, put is equal to 1. The total work is equal to 1. So what is the total work? How much n minus, this is the work done by x, n minus 10 by 60, plus what is the work done by y? N by 40. The total work is 1. So n minus 10 by 60 plus n by 40 is equal to 1. So 40n, take the LCM, 40n minus 400 plus cross multiply 60n by 2400 is equal to 1. So 40 plus 60, 100n minus 400 is 2400. So 100n is equal to 2400 plus 400, that is 2800. So n is equal to 28 days. So it will take 28 days to complete the work because x left after 10 days, and this is the capacity of x and y. So with these conditions, if they work together, then the work will be completed in 28 days. Now question number 4. This is time and distance. A train is running at 7 by 11 of its own speed due to fog and reached a place in 44 hours. So this is not the usual speed. The usual speed is something else. Because of the fog, it is running at 7 by 11 of its own usual speed. And the time taken by it is 44 hours. What was the original time taken by the train if it runs at its own speed? So original time taken by it when it is running in its own speed. So distance and time, remember the formula. So please put one y and in between put this d, the distance, put distance and put s and t here. So distance is equal to speed into time. Speed if they ask, distance by time. Time if they ask, distance by speed. Now here, distance is a constant. Distance is not changing. The train is running from A to B. Only the speed and the time is changing here. The distance is not changing. Remember that. So distance is a constant. Now the original speed, let us take it as S1. And original time is T1. The new speed, because of the for, the new speed is S2. And the new time, let us take it as T2. Now distance is the constant, right? Distance formula is speed into time. So S1 T1 is equal to S2 T2. Distance is ST. So S1 T1 is equal to S2 T2 because the distance is equal. This distance is not changing. But this is the new speed. What is the new speed? 7 by 11 of its original speed. So it is S2 is 7 by 11 of S1. The original speed is S1 into time T2. You can cancel this S1 on both the sides. You can cancel S1 here and S1 here. So what do you get now? T1 is 7 by 11. The time is the new time is given. The time is 44 hours. The new time is 44 hours. So the original time is asked. So it can cancel this 11. 4s are 7 into 4, 28. So the original time is 28 hours. So the original time taken by the train, if it runs at its own speed, is 28 hours. But is 28 hours. But because of the fog, it decreased the speed, so it will reach by 44 hours. It will reach in 44 hours. Question number 5. The signal poles on a railroad are placed 100 meters apart. The signal poles, you would have seen the signal poles on a railroad, right? These are the signal poles. These are the signal poles. They are placed 100 meters apart. So the distance between these is 100 meters. How many poles will be passed by a train in 8 hours if the speed of the train is 45 kilometers? So how many poles it will cross by the train in 8 hours? In 8 hours, if the speed of the train is 45 kilometers per hour and the distance between the two poles is also given. So total number of poles is the question. How many poles? The total number of poles passed by the train is the total distance traveled by the train. The total distance by the distance between the poles. The total distance we have to find divided by the distance between the poles plus 1. Why that plus 1? Suppose the train is traveling from A to B. Distance is 400 meters. From A to B, the distance is 400 meters. Distance between two poles, take it as 100. Distance between two poles, take it as 100. So how many poles are there? How do you do? The total distance divided by this. Suppose you name this as AC. So total distance is AB divided by AC, that is 400 by 100, that is 4. So you're getting the answer 4, but if you count the number of poles, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 poles. Why do we get 5 poles? Measuring the distance after crossing the first pole. They were measuring this distance A to C after A, after this pole. So this pole is not counted. When you measure the distance between A and C, this pole is not counted. So if they ask you the number of poles, you divide the total distance by the distance between the poles plus 1. This 1 should be added. Is it clear? So the same way, if I want to find the total number of poles, the total distance traveled by the train by the distance between the poles plus 1. Plus 1 is this one. Okay, so here what is the total distance? You can see that here this is in kilometers and this is in meters. You should have the same unit. So 45 kilometer converting to meters. So how do you convert? Multiply by 1000. 45 into 1000 is 45,000 into 8. Distance formula we know. What is the distance formula? Distance is speed into time. What is the speed? 45 km per hour. Kilometer, the unit here is kilometers. Here the unit is meters. So you should have the same unit. So convert kilometer to meters. Distance is equal to speed into time. What is the speed? 45 km. Convert into meters. So it becomes 45,000. So this is 45,000 into time. Time is given as 8 hours. That is the distance. Okay, convert this into meters. So 45,000 meters. Okay, 45 into 1000. So this is 45,000 into 8 by distance between poles is 100. So by 100 plus 1. So we are just counting this first pole. So plus 1. So that when you calculate this, cancel 0, 0. So you get 0, 3600 plus 1. So 3601 poles. Now the second part of the question is, if the number of poles are given, if 7200 poles are to be installed within 2 stations at an equal distance, the total distance of 360 kilometers, find the distance between 2 consecutive poles. So the total number of poles is given here. So this is given. Total number of poles is given. Okay. They ask you to find distance between the poles. The total distance is 360 kilometers. So multiply by 1000. It will become 3,60,000. 360 into 1000. Convert into meters. So it will become 3,60,000 meters. That is a total distance. If you want to find the distance between the poles, this number of poles, you are adding this. This is not necessary now. What is the formula? The number of poles, the formula is total distance by distance between the poles plus 1. Now we want this. So this one, we have to subtract this one. So number of poles minus 1. Minus 1 is total distance by distance between the poles. So distance between the poles is the question. So total distance by number of poles minus 1. So if you bring it here, distance between the poles. The total distance by number of poles minus 1. So the distance between the poles is, total distance is this one, 3,60,000 divided by number of poles. They are given 7,201 minus 1. Minus 1 because I told you this you have to omit. Okay, because the distance is calculated after this. So we don't want this pole. So distance between the poles will be, this is the formula, total distance by number of poles given minus 1. So number of poles given here is 7,201 minus 1. So 7,200. So that means 50 meters. So when you calculate, you get 50 meters. So distance between the poles is 50 meters. Remember that the number of poles, one extra they have given because the first pole is given.